Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Meet the operator. This small batch, artisan made, medium dark roast espresso coffee. Get yours now at monkeyworksus.com or scan the QR code on your screen now. All right. Hey, welcome, folks. Mil-Spec Ops Monkey here. It's going to be your SITREP. It is Friday, and you can pat yourself on the back. You have survived yet another week of tyranny. And so, without further ado, let's jump over here to the board. If you would, hit that like and subscribe, bell for notification, so you get the latest and greatest when it comes out. And let's get over here to our mini board. And as we kick it off in Skyglass, as always. Now, looking at the flights that are currently up right now, it is kind of a light Friday, surprisingly enough as it is. But let's see, looking total count, 133 over the United States. And I've already stripped out about 60, around 60 trainers. If we just look at the air refuelers, even those are a little bit light. Let's just go ahead and pluck those in real fast. There's going to be only 3 Pegasus. Then we go over here to KC 135s, only 9 of those. But just notice their location. That kind of gives you, again, it's a data point on where we more than likely have a fighter concentration. This area in the Panhandle, you kind of expect to see that. There's a lot of base activity down here, a lot of trainers, etc. So that's probably feeding most of that down here. Now, this piece down on the border, we're going to talk a little bit more about what's going on down there, and I think this may highlight why we've got fighter aircraft in the general area. And then, of course, look down here along the I guess the Tucson south area of the border there in Arizona. It looks like some air refueling going on over here as well. So maybe we're starting to throw some fighters down also in that area. Now, for today's show, we're going to talk about a couple of things. Some of it's a little unnerving. Radioactive hotspots. The term has come up, and they're actually looking for these hotspots. They say they're doing it just as a precaution. But let me tell you, if you've learned anything about our government, that is just the fact that just like Flint River and the water and everything else, they don't tell you about what's going on until after the fact or until after the damage is done. Same thing with this big derailment that happened in recent months. You know, they've proven it doesn't matter. They're not looking out for us. When they do those kind of things, there's something going on. You hear about it later down the road. Maybe they do it because they don't want us to panic, or they don't want us holding them accountable. And so, again, it's just another data point for you. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some other interesting flights that have been brought up recently looking for minerals. And then we're going to talk about some very, very alarming information as it relates to the Gestapo. And yes, her name is back in the headlines, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Yes, I said the HRC word. Pretty bad, but you know, while she's floating it out there, I can guarantee you're going to see her name on the ticket coming up to run against Trump again, and this time the fix will really be in. So pay attention, folks, because we are on the brink of being bamboozled, and they ain't going to let you do anything about it like they did last time. So, all right, check this out. Here we go. This is the big one from a news perspective. Actually, let me do this. I want to show you the flight. We're going to talk about this. Then we're going to get back into the data, watch list, et cetera. Okay. So this is, first off, this is the headline. They just started October 2nd, but they are actually looking for radiological hot spots. Now, they haven't done this in about 40 years, and they say that they're doing it as just a precautionary measure. Like I said, I don't buy it. Measuring potential radiation sources, but let's look at the flights here as we check out what they're up to. Now, keep in mind this flight right here that's down on the southern Texas border along the water area, that was in July. Okay, so I've gone back 90 days just to see where this aircraft has been flying. Now, notice this one, that's up over kind of North Texas. That's a little concerning, especially for me, but Then we get up here. This is where the activity is happening right now. This was on the news, and they are looking hot and heavy over this general area. You got to ask yourself why. Radioactive hotspots or radiological hotspots. What are they up to, folks? So if you live in that area, I would say get out there to Mira or even Amazon or anywhere and get yourself one of these little Geiger counters, the little handheld. They're like $100, maybe 150 for really good ones. But this thing right here will tell you exactly what's going on in your area. So if you live up there, I'd have one of these little puppies handy just to make sure you weren't getting zapped and didn't know anything about it. All right. So there is that aspect. Now let's get back over here to our watch list. We'll cover some of the other things that are going on, but just notice here, this is the United States. You know what we see up right now for the most part? That's all Customs and Border Patrol. Look at the amount of flights, Homeland Security, Customs along our border. Those are up right now. That's actually real-time stuff. Yeah, all along our border. Something's up. Telling you, doesn't look good. That's going to be one of your gray birds. That's going to be your agency folks moving around. Looks like we got another one up, getting airborne, 540PA. And then that's a LaSalle. That's a reconnaissance bird. So if we look at the flights that are currently up, I've stripped out the surveys. It's actually kind of light today in terms of surveys. Strangely or oddly enough, it's very light. But then there's your intel birds. That's going to be the Germans looking over most of Europe. That's going to be a little Ruski bird. Looks to be headed from the northern side of Russia. And yeah, that's over the Russian Federation. Only one up that I'm catching at the moment. And then we get down. These are all drones you see over Turkey and the one headed out over the Mediterranean. All right. And then that's a little man in the middle spin there by a NATO E3 over Spain. So if you live in Spain, just know they're watching you. All right, let's talk intel birds for a minute. Notice again, remember I saw the air refuelers there. These are aircraft that are over the Tucson, southern Tucson area in Arizona, looking down towards the border. We got some stuff going on over Atlanta and Georgia. Yeah, makes you wonder what they're up to there. And little bit there over DC, but not too much. Now, look at this. Again, I've been showing you a significant uptick over this particular area. I'm telling you, that's quite alarming. That's over Sweden, out over the Baltic Sea area. Then when you get down, look very close as you get kind of digging down into that region. And then, of course, we get out over the Mediterranean. And then look at this. I don't know what this little body of water is running up into that general area, but check it out. They're looking closely at it. Again, intelligence gathering equipment. All right, now let's talk R-135 because this is also going to further paint the story that they have been very, very concerned and worried about stuff that is on the move within the Russian Federation. Now, just notice they're not going around Kaliningrad today like they did last time. They're just kind of to the south side of it. But then they run right up into Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, looking very closely at those areas. All right. And we'll hop over here to the United States just to take a quick gander. Well, actually, that'd be the wrong direction. We're going to head to Asia first. Then we're going to hop over to the United States. Yeah, it looks like just one popped up out of Okinawa, probably looking very closely at North Korea. And then we get out to the west. And you're going to just see kind of, again, running a little route there over East Texas, Louisiana side of the house, and then up towards kind of Wisconsin. The others, and the southern border, of course, Texas, right? Looking at those areas. Okay, now let's talk NOAA. We'll get into the weather aspect. If you're in California, just notice they've been doing a lot of flying around that area. Kind of strange. You got a high pressure system out over the Pacific that's preventing any of the stuff coming in. And then, of course, up near, let's see, yeah, up to the north area, as they always have been, Minnesota, Wisconsin, in general, that kind of area. Then Florida. I've heard a lot of complaints about the weather and the rain in Florida. It makes you just kind of wonder what's up with that, huh? Yeah, a lot of activity. So, okay. Now, let's look at the gray birds for a minute. This will just kind of give you a general idea. Look at this pattern out over the water down towards Baja, Southern California. And then you get here, that's coming out of their home base operations, all that yellow and green stuff. That's going to be coming out of Cartersville. But then just notice some big transitions and moves. These guys are, they support the agencies big time. So, again, little covert flying there. I don't know what's going on. It seems to, oh, all right, there we go. It's moving now. All right, then go down south, just heading down into Guantanamo Bay. So you got the CIA headed into Guantanamo Bay. Data point for you. Wonder what they're doing down there. I don't know. But anyway, there you have it. Caught them red-handed. Okay, so we talked a little bit about this aircraft. This is the one in question in 973. I think that's an 8 Bravo. I believe that is. I've got the proper one captured, but there you kind of have it. It's, yeah, you can see it got a little sensor tube there on the bottom as it's flying around, gathering, sniffing the air. Now, we typically will look at the nuke sniffer, which is run by the Department of Energy. That's a security bird, but I will tell you, it hasn't flown in the last 2 months. So I think it's down for maintenance. And that's usually a helicopter, right? When we talk about the sniffer, yeah, we're not talking about flashbang. But anyway, okay, here's the other one. Now, in recent weeks, we've seen some headlines pop out that had to do with China and their mineral, basically going all around the world, controlling a lot of the world's minerals and controlling the mines and buying it all up. Why? I don't know. But they are buying the daylights out of the stuff. Well, guess what? United States just realized a little bit late in the game that, hey, we may have a problem here because we need a lot of these critical minerals in order to fight a war, in order to produce products to go fight this war, right? And so check this out. This is a media alert, all right? It's a state news release. USGS has actually got a low-level helicopter, and they're going to start doing the surveys. They actually started in late August. But these are the areas that they're looking at. Now, if you get down into it, you can see this is a spot. They're kind of hitting where a lot of the mines and things are out there. Yeah, like I said, they are, they call this the Colorado Mineral Belt. But nonetheless, this is what it looks like. Now, there is something very obvious to me when I look at this helicopter, besides the fact that it's doing some jousting, all right? This little tip that's out there is evidently a very high, it looks like a match tip, doesn't it? High sensor kind of equipment. But what are we missing on this helicopter? Anybody? Anyone? Oh, yeah, that's right. You guys can't talk back to me. So, yeah, look, there's no tail number on this thing. You know, the FAA requires helicopters to have an N number on the registration. So it's either been modified where you can't see it in the picture because they don't want you tracking where this aircraft is going, or this thing doesn't have an N number on it, which typically you see them up here, you know, down here. Maybe it's on the very bottom. I don't know, but it has to be visible. That's according to the law. But evidently, they're not worried about that. So nonetheless, this thing is up and about doing its deal. So if you see the helicopter out with the match tip on it, it is that's what it's doing. It's looking for critical minerals that I believe we're going to be needing to go fight a war. Okay. So, all right, let's get over to Flashbang today. Doesn't look like he's doing much anything. Evidently, today is German American Day. So if you would, get yourself that kraut and a little bit of, you know, I don't know, hog's knuckle or whatever it is that you want to do. But yeah, today's that day. All right. All right. Speaking of Gestapos, the FBI is secretly targeting Trump supporters. What a shocker. Nah, couldn't happen. Yeah, it is. This is where I find it very disturbing, is the fact that according to a classified or according to classified information attained by Newsweek. Okay, Newsweek, I didn't know when you were read on the programs, but I got news for you. That right there is a felony. So you are not allowed to really be looking at classified information. You have to be read onto a program, and it's a need-to-know basis. So who is pushing classified information around? That maybe is a big issue we probably should be looking at. So But evidently, according to this classified information they just happened to get their hands on, yeah, the FBI is actually digging in and looking at Trump supporters. So just stay frosty, folks, because I will tell you, they will definitely be coming after us at some point or another. There is a reason why you have so many immigration camps popping up across the United States. If you think it's to house the immigrants, maybe temporarily, but those things are definitely multi-purpose, and there's a lot of them. Okay. All right, here we go. This one just makes you sick. Hillary Clinton, MAGA, cult members need deprogramming. Yeah, she said it again. You may remember this before. You bunch of deplorables out there. Yeah, all they're doing is just incentivizing us more. In fact, when I read this, you know what I did between this FBI post and this one? Yeah, I went and donated to the Trump Foundation. Not foundation, the Trump campaign. Sorry, he doesn't have a foundation. I'm thinking about the Clintons. But nonetheless, yeah, we are now considered cult members if you are supporting Trump, and we need to be deprogrammed. So don't think for a minute with her little do and her makeover that she is not going to throw her hat in the ring when Biden bows out, okay? So brace yourselves for it, because I think that's coming, all right? Okay. Now, we've been talking about the fighters down at the southern border, and I will tell you, this could very well be the reason for it. Evidently, the border war has begun. Now, I will tell you, my head of security, who is very much in the know, has been down there and came back and gave me some information that was quite disturbing. He's probably very engaged in this at this moment. So, but let me tell you, this right here, a dramatic eyewitness report of Texas invasion of the Mexican cartel island, crawling with gang members and ringed with sniper nests. Yeah. So this is no joke. And Texas DPS is down there, and I would imagine you got our own snipers down there. But look, this is one of the actually captured on camera. You can see this guy is running around with his weapon. And these guys, this is no joke, man. This is some serious stuff happening. But evidently, it is not on the Mexican side. It's on the U.S. side. It's called the Island of Death. And I think it's getting real jiggy down there at the moment. So you hear about this report, and then you read about this little deal that has got you kind of going, what the haps, brother? Biden quietly approves a new U.S.-Mexican border wall construction. He ain't saying nothing about it to anybody. But yeah, evidently, the Biden administration has waived 26 federal laws to allow the construction of a new addition to this border wall in Texas. The move comes after Biden vowed there will not be another foot of wall constructed by my administration. So, yeah, buckle up. It's getting pretty interesting, but this could very well be the reason why this is taking shape. The reality of some very bad people getting into our country is it's pretty real. And people that live down in the southern side of Texas and border towns can tell you the stuff that goes on down there does not make the news. All right. Okay, let's do this. Let's look at the NOTAMs. I'm not seeing anything new in terms of NOTAMs, other than it looks like a launch box here and a launch box there. Maybe they're getting ready to do that hypersonic missile test by the Army out of Cape Canaveral. That looks to be the case, and this may be the splashdown area. So it's going to be a brief, quick launch. But do see some stuff going on off the Moroccan, actually Western Sahara area off in the water. And don't really know what that is, other than they're just basically doing some kind of mill operation. And then we look around here. I'm not seeing anything new that catches my eye in the general area, but we'll keep our eye on all of this. Of course, this looks to be launch boxes too up here in the Barents Sea. More than likely, that's Russia that's doing this stuff, all right? But some kind of activity. All right, speaking of Russia and Ukraine and all the other shenanigans going on, NATO is at the bottom of the barrel of weapons stockpiles. What? You got to be kidding me. Yeah, this is real. It says here that they've realized now that they can see the bottom of the barrel. And I would imagine you're going to start to see a lot of folks stop giving stuff to Ukraine. We've already heard several countries that have kind of stepped back on their pace and what they're giving them. Germany, UK, even the United States, I think, is getting to the point where we're going to stop giving them weaponry. We may give them money, but we are all basically drying up our inventories to fight. And, you know, that's not a good situation you want to be in if you're going up against China and or Russia. All right. So pay close attention to that. Check this out. This is what they're saying. It says NATO military budgets increased before the Russian invasion, right? That's the military budgets. They said, yeah, we're going to need a lot more money to go do this. But the Western arms industry did not increase production capacity. Remember, Ukraine is pumping through 10,000 rounds of artillery a day. All right. They're going through more in a month than we produce in a year in the United States. So you can't do that for very long until you realize, we got a problem. The fact that we're just now realizing it, almost 2 years into this just blows me away. Probably after like 3 months, they should have said, hey, wait a minute. These guys we're flying through inventory and these guys are shooting like stormtroopers. We got a problem here on the near-term horizon in terms of forecasting. So remember, it takes a little bit of time to spool up the industrial base for, that ramp up in terms of, take case in point, the Stinger missiles, right? We gave everything to Ukraine we had and then realized, hey, you know what? They don't make those anymore. So we go back to Raytheon, and Raytheon says, we got a problem. That's old technology. We don't do it. If you want us to spool up, it's going to take 2 years. So this is a bad news situation for everybody involved in terms of NATO, all right? Okay, let's get over here and take a look at the military bases. It looks very quiet today, although, did you see that just a second ago? That was a balloon that was up right here, and it just disappeared on us. So interesting. All right, got a Glex aircraft in and out, and then down here, that's kind of strange. Phoenix Air. What would Phoenix Air be doing out here? That's a good question. Remember, these are agency birds coming out of Mountain View, California, headed into Biggs Army Airfield. All right, over to Dover. I see one 747 coming in from Chicago. I don't know what kind of aircraft that is. Oscar, single piston, P-66. Okay. All right, looks like the one coming in from Chicago, Coletta Air, is going to be heading over to Ramstein. So it's taking some stuff over to Germany, probably tanks or ATACMs or the stuff that we'll hear about later, cluster bombs, that kind of thing. Okay. All right. And then over here to this side, this is actually going to be, I believe this is Ramstein. And just notice there's the one coming in from Dover. You've got this one coming in from Kuwait, 777-200. That's probably troops. And that's it. Then it's headed to destination unknown. And then this is a real big data point for us all. This is actually Forward Operating Base RZE Poland. And just going to point out, nothing on the board, folks. It is absolutely crickets over there today. So I don't see any 747s. I don't see anything catches my eye, actually. So we'll just move on. Okay. Wow. Camber flight's very active again. Notice the 747s in that mix. Okay. That's going to be probably moving some precious cargo, things that go boom or, make things go boom. And then these other ones like the 777s are probably going to be troop related. All right. All right. Moving on. This is going to be the Brits. And they only have 4 flights on there right now. This one's coming out of Gander and headed back to home operations. And looks like you got a couple in and out of Cyprus. Moving on to National Cargo, 747s. So these boys are moving the big equipment. Chicago to Anchorage, so probably empty, headed out here to get some goods. When you see it going deep inside of China, more than likely this is that's not going to be anything military related. it's going to be coming in and picking up something that is critical path. Remember, anytime you fly stuff in, you're paying a lot of money for air freight, but it's because you can't afford to have it sitting on a boat for 3 weeks, slow boat from China getting over here. So probably pharmaceuticals or something along those lines. All right. And then this one looks to be coming out of, where are we headed here? Chicago up to Anchorage. So that's headed here. So that may be heading the same thing. So doesn't look like they're doing any military activity today. And then we got Omni, only one on the board coming out of Anchorage, headed down to Seymour Johnson. That's Goldsboro, North Carolina, Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. And yep, that's going to do it. So, all right, folks, listen, it looks like things have quieted down a little bit there from the Ukraine front. It looks like NATO is starting to scratch their heads and realize they've got themselves in quite the pickle. So continue to watch that, see what shakes loose here in the coming weeks. But it does not look good for anybody in terms of having the equipment to fight a battle. All right. And the other piece, too, is why are we out looking for radiological hotspots in the United States? That's a puzzle that I don't even want to know. But if you live in those areas, definitely need to be staying frosty and paying close attention to what's going on. So that's it. You guys keep that powder dry. We'll talk soon. God bless. Monkey out. Thanks for watching, folks. You can check out the latest gear and products by selecting the QR code on your screen now, or go to monkeyworksus.com.